Hi guys, time for another episode of the Treadmill Trader. So, quite excited for this one actually. Going to talk today about one of the staples, something that I do every single day. It's a pretty reliable one, this one, and I tout it quite highly to everybody. I know a few others that do this as well, but this is primarily to tell you about something called Bitcoin miner. It's an interesting name. Despite the name, it has absolutely nothing to do with mining Bitcoin, so don't worry. Not to scare you, it is quite literally just a game that emulates mining crypto. Now, before I can talk about Bitcoin miner per se, I just wanted to explain that this is a game that essentially you play that rewards you with satoshis. A satoshi being a very small unit of Bitcoin. So I think it works out to something like 10 satoshis at the moment is the equivalent to about a penny in Bitcoin, just to give you a kind of reference point. Obviously that changes depending on the current price of Bitcoin in the market. Now what I will do is I will do quite a number of videos specifically around Satoshi games. There are videos on this on the internet already, but I'm kind of doing these a little bit more in depth than the videos I've seen, and a bit more realistic, because it seems to me that they're not done from the perspective so much of real people wanting to know whether it's actually worth it or not, and being very specific on whether withdrawals actually happen and whether there's a scam. So that's why I wanted to do these, and again, I'm still learning, so I'm quite happy to take suggestions from people if there are other games to try. There's loads of them out there. So I will make a separate playlist. Although I'll upload these videos in one order, I will separate them into playlists for people that want to pick and choose. This might not be for everybody, but for me, this is honestly, it's a breadwinner. I do it every single day, and it has allowed me to slowly build up a sizable chunk of Bitcoin in a wallet now. So I say a sizable chunk, everything is relevant, right? But it's considering the time spent, I think it's definitely worth the investment. So the game Bitcoin miner. Before I can even go on to talking about the game, the interesting part, and the part that people really want to know about, is does it work and can you withdraw? So the fast answer straight away is yes, and I do withdraw every single day from this one. Now, the problem with that is, because you are withdrawing small crypto, is you have to withdraw in a certain way. Now, what makes this one easier is it's part of the suite of games that allows you to withdraw to an app called ZBD, if you like, which is very easy to set up an account. It's kind of user friendly, at least I find it user friendly. I will stick a referral link down below, just to make things simple. Follow that referral link. I think you get a slight bonus, and so do I, and just get it installed. Now, when you've got it installed, it gives you a reference that essentially is your ZBD location. If you put that location into the game, it will withdraw into that location, and it's instant. That's the key thing. It uses something called the Lightning Network. I'm not going to pretend to know exactly what the Lightning Network is. All I know is Lightning's fast, it works fast. That's about as interested as I am in it. I press withdraw, I get the satoshis in my account. I can then turn them into whatever I want them to be. So I can move them then to another more secure account, which is what I generally do. Or you can then move those to another account and then turn them into cash. So there is a direct route to turn this into pounds and pence, if that's what you want to do. I don't personally do that with this, for my own reasons. It will be something that I will make a video on in the later date as to why I'm not doing that and what I'm doing instead. But specifically for this, just wanted to explore, or sort of explain, this game and what it does and why it's one of my staples. So once you've got your ZBD up and running and you've got the game installed, the game is Bitcoin miner, you're a go. Now, what I like about this one, it's quite a fun little game, to be honest. It's quite easy going. You quite literally sort of tap in to upgrade. It's an idle game. A lot of people will know some of these games anyway. It's actually one of the games that's quite often in the adverts for other games as well, with an advert saying, oh yeah, you can just sit there and you can make $5 a month. Actually, yeah you can. So I followed one of those adverts and tried it, and lo and behold, it does exactly what it says. Now, that being said, like everything, it is funded by adverts, so it is quite advert heavy. So that includes adverts for the boosts that allow you to get quicker and get satoshis quicker, and as well as random adverts. Now what I did, as soon as I could see after a while that this was a legitimate program, I purchased the no advert. I have no ads for this game anymore. I believe it was £12. Now, sounds like quite a lot. It is, in terms of what you can earn from it to start with, which is why it's a longer term investment, and it's all to do with the time taken. It really does knock your time down. So once you've actually done a bit of investment in the game, it becomes even quicker. So essentially what you get is you get some satoshis for every step and coin you unlock, which leads you to unlock the entirety of one level, and then you move on to the next level. And there are numerous levels, there are about 6 or 7 levels. Once you've got every other coin, that number of satoshis, you can then reset and start again. You can do this every 4 hours. It used to be sooner, but they've made it every 4 hours now. So that means every 4 hours you can go in and reset and redo all of the coins. Now, there are better videos on this game out there to actually show you the game, physically show you the game. What I can tell you is that I'm at the stage with this game where I have no adverts, and I can every 4 hours spend 1 minute 30 seconds every 4 hours that I'm awake, and that gets me to my maximum withdrawal per day, which you're allowed, of 250 sats. That roughly gets me around 23p in Bitcoin every day for 5 minutes work, and that's why I like it. And it does genuinely take me 5 minutes of work. Now obviously I spent £12 for the no ads, because that does slow you down a lot, being able to not do that. So I definitely recommend, if you want to do this, to pay for the no ads, stomach it up front. It will take you, work it out, 23 pence per day. Say it was 20 pence per day, that's £1 every 5 days. It will take you a month and a half to break even. Fully admit that's not for everybody. You can sit there and watch the ads if you want to. You will still get the free Bitcoin. You can do it while you're doing something else. That's completely up to you. I've been running this now for 6 months. So yes, month and a half for free if you like. Use that to grind it up. Now I spend 5 minutes every day, and it gets me 23 pence worth of Bitcoin every single day for 5 minutes worth. Now you think what that is, it's roughly about £4 an hour in terms of your time spent. Now £4 an hour in Bitcoin to play a game. Now think about that for a moment. To play a game on your phone, you are earning at a rate of £4 per hour. That's pretty impressive, right? To play a game, we're not talking about work. We're not talking about even anything that you need to really think about. It's £4 an hour to play a game on your phone. That's pretty impressive, and that's why I wanted to do the video on this one first, because I haven't found any game that gives you that kind of rate of return. There are other games, but nothing that even comes close to this. Now I will say, there is a final thing that makes me really like this one. They're from a company called Fum Games. Very small indie company. They make their ad revenue, they make their money through ad revenue and for people that pay for no ads. They obviously, that's where their income comes from. They have a Discord server, which I went on when I had a genuine problem. I sent a ticket and I got a reply. That already makes them better than most of these companies because I got a reply within a reasonable time frame and they fixed the problem straight away. Now, I've had 2 problems in 6 months. The second one arguably wasn't even a problem, it was just a question, and I got the answer within 7 hours. And this has got millions of downloads. There are hundreds of thousands of people that have played this at some point, and they're a team of about, I don't know, 2-3 people maybe, with some moderators. Maximum's going to be only ever 10 people that will ever be involved. That's pretty impressive. And all of that just builds up a picture of a company that isn't a scam. They genuinely are a good little company, that they're making some money and they're sharing that money through ad revenue with people. They're one of the genuine ones, and that's why I wanted to start with these ones. I do play one of their other games. I think they've only got the 3 games and one of them is not running at the moment, so it's 2 games. So it's Bitcoin Miner and Idle Miner. I do play Idle Miner. I can see that can go down the same route, but it needs a little bit more grind. So I've started grinding that one to get that to the stage where I can get the same amount of return, but it does take a little longer at the moment. It's a similar sort of model, but it's more actual physical little mining. You get your guys little mining on the screen, things like that. But yeah, it takes a little bit more effort. It's not quite as generous, but it was generous enough that I decided to pay for the no ads on that one, and the no ads for that one was cheaper. So I think it was $5.99. So all in all, I spent about £17 roughly on no ads for their 2 games. I only spent the second one because basically the company really impressed me. They were really good guys, they were really nice, they're really responsive, really helpful, and they're not a scam. So I am working to get that one to the stage where hopefully I can get the same sort of return in the same amount of time. At the moment, to get that same sort of return probably takes about 2 to 3 times as long to do it. Still very easy, still very simple, so, and still the maximum 250 sats withdrawal. So yeah, it's there. It's another little money earner, and I don't mind it. I don't mind playing it, so it's quite fun. But yeah, that's what I wanted to focus on for today's video. Fun games, Bitcoin Miner and Idle Miner, 2 really good cracking games, good staple, always pays, not a scammy company. I really suggest that people check them out and get on the path to just building up some Bitcoin for playing games. That's what this is all about. Long-term passive income from this by staking. That's what's coming, and that what I'll explain at some point in another video. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the long term to see what I can get passively from all of these things. In the meantime, playing those games, getting that crypto, building up the portfolio, and spending nothing. Initial spend, yes, recovering that, and then spending nothing moving forward. All straight income playing games. What can get better than that? See you later, guys.